Hello friends, myself Professor Prakash Jakatdar. I have been teaching mathematics for the last 40 years. Okay, let me correct myself. I am not teaching mathematics. I am trying to teach mathematics. Whether they have learned anything from me or not, I do not know. But the surprising part of my entire teaching experience is that the students have taught me more than what I can teach them. For example, I'll give you one example. Once I was giving a lecture to the batch for the first time, and I asked them the question, what is the long form of mathematics, maths? One of the students stood up and said, "Sir, don't you know? Maths means mentally affected teachers harassing students." It was like showing a mirror to me. And then I looked at myself and I realized, yes, I am mentally affected, because unless you are not mentally affected, you cannot afford to teach mathematics for such a long time. But let me tell you one thing, there are two kinds of mental afflictions. One mental affliction will take you to the mental hospital. Another mental affliction can make you Einstein, right? And I am always looking for an Einstein in my students. And whenever I was having such a fantastic expectation from my students, many times I got discouraged. Why? Because I saw potential in those students, but the students themselves were not aware of it. So they were blind to their own potential, and this blindness has resulted, their blindness has resulted in creating certain programs called motivational programs, and I created them, and I have given thousands of students a guidance about how to motivate them. First of all, motivation is not something that is given to you. Nobody can motivate you. You can only motivate yourself, and that motivation comes out of bending your mind, bending your attitude, bending your self-assessment, bending your self-empowerment, So that is the only thing which is responsible for motivation. So I have realized one thing, that, I don't understand. Suppose, I'll give an example. There's a child born, right? I don't know why, but you are in a nursing home, right? And the newborn child is there, and you are looking at it through the glass, and somebody asks you, can you predict the future of this child? You will definitely say, no. How can I know? I do not know the socio-economic background of his parents. Neither I know what he is capable of. I do not know anything. I do not know anything about his hereditary aspect, genetics or anything. Neither am I an astrologer, so how will I know? In other words, you are just saying that the possibilities in the life of a newborn child are infinitely many, right? Out of that, which possibilities he will exactly capture, you are unavailable. In other words, that boy could be more intelligent than Newton and Einstein put together. Or he could be a better player than Sachin Tendulkar. Or he could be a better athlete than all the athletes in the world. Or he could be a criminal also, I don't know. He could be worse than, say, Mehta, Harshad Mehta or whatever. So what happens in the life of a newborn child, the possibilities are immense and infinitely many. The future of a newborn child looks like a purely spherical ball. Why it is spherical ball? Because the pressure acting at every point is equal at every point. And he is capable of developing in all possible directions with equal amount of force. So the possibilities are enormous, and you do not understand how many possibilities are there. He could be anything in the world. But what happens when the child turns 17-year or 18-year-old? He comes to me, and then when I start asking him questions, what are you capable of? The list of things that he is capable of is very, very short compared to the list of things that he is incapable of. In other words, if his entire abilities of doing things or the possibilities are enclosed in a big circle, now that circle has been shrunk to a very small hole. I call it a self-limiting diagram. In the last 17 years of his experience, he has given, death to thousands of possibilities, right? And that death itself is the loss. And in English there is a saying that death is not the greatest loss. The greatest loss is that which we lose while we are alive, So all these possibilities that he has killed, right? They are the greatest loss for him. And he has not even started his journey of life. He's just 17-year-old. But if you ask him what is he capable of, can he become the Prime Minister of India? He will say, no. Politics is a dirty game. Fine. Can you be a cricket player? No, I have been playing cricket only on computer. Can you be a footballer? No, that is the same thing with I played only on computer. I have never visited a ground at all. Can you become a great mathematician? No, I hate mathematics. Can you become Einstein? No, that kind of mental power I do not have. So 90% of the questions about the greatest possibilities in his life, those possibilities which will make him proud, make the world proud, make his family proud, all those possibilities are nipped in the bud, right? And this happens at the age of 17. So I was asking them a question. I used to ask those students a question. Do you need an astrologer to predict your future? They would resignedly say that, no, sir, we have already predicted it. Because the original circle, which contained all possibilities, is now cut into several pieces, and a very small hole of possibilities is left over there, in which you can at the most become a postgraduate or join some company where you will become junior engineer, senior engineer, and your salary will grow in packages and all that. That kind of possibilities are there. But there is no possibility of becoming an industrialist. There is no possibility of becoming Dhirubhai Ambani. There is no possibility of becoming a politician of high rank. There is no possibility of becoming the highest kind of research player. Anything extraordinary, anything worth living for, anything this world remember you for, are outside the realm of possibilities. And this has happened at the age of 17. That is the greatest loss of our generation. And in order to address this particular phenomena, I started conducting certain seminars in which I had 3 goals. I used to call them IIT because I was professor of coaching IIT aspirants. So first I stands for inspiration. Inspiration means spurti. Matlab inspiration means what? Letting the students know that they can do thousand times better than what they think they can. This awareness has to be brought to them. That is called inspiration. Then second I stands for information. Information means what? Telling them something which no one has told them ever before. Something which they have never heard before. That is the information. But these 2 things are not enough. You may be inspired, you may be well informed, but does that make any difference? Unless you transform yourself into a new mold of life. That is called transformation. So I stands for information, I stands for inspiration, and the last T, which is the most important part, is transformation. What is transformation? I will put it in a very simple language. Transformation is nothing but, suppose in a particular environment, if you are reacting in a particular way, right? Now the same environment, but your reaction is different. Then that is called transformation. The basic aim of all my lectures is going to be to bring about this transformation, and that transformation will be responsible for breaking the walls of the prison in which you have enclosed yourself. So it is like a self-limiting diagram. You are finding that this is not possible, this is not possible, this is not possible, this is not possible, this is not possible. Why? Why have you built those walls around you? You are not even aware when they were erected. And you are not even aware that they are there unless you ask yourself such questions, right? So first of all, you should be aware of what kind of prison you have created among yourself. What are the dimensions of that prison? How far you can go in that prison? And then, are those walls real or virtual? Let us get into those things. These walls are self-created or they are actual walls? Let us find out the nature of these walls, and let us find out the ways and means of breaking these walls and achieving the ultimate freedom that the mankind can get. He is free. His realization that he is free to do anything that he wants in this world, anything that he desires in this world. He has the power, and he has the power of transforming himself into a new human being required for reaching a particular kind of goal. That is called transformation, and this transformation is the only aim of all my lecture series that I am going to conduct. My lecture series will be divided into 3 parts. First is called Anatomy of Success. Anatomy of Success means what? what is the structure of success? People, everybody in every walk of life, everybody is always wants to be a successful person. But nobody asks themselves the question, what is the meaning of success? How can it be achieved? What are the ingredients which produce a successful man? We don't think about it, but we want to be successful. We do not know anything about success. We do not define success. We do not develop a machinery for reaching the success. But still we want to be successful. So what is the anatomy of success? Success depends on what, right? Let us analyze that first. Once you analyze the anatomy of success, then you will realize that anatomy of success, at least at the root cause, is the self-image. What you think about himself, what are your beliefs about yourself. You have created certain self-image, and that self-image is actually responsible for the ultimate success. The connection between self-image and success will be told to you in the next lecture. Okay? But self-image is the most important part, and how this self-image is created, how it gets created, what are the factors responsible for creating your self-image. Most of the students think that they are not extraordinary, right? So their self-image is not extraordinary. So the success that they get is also not extraordinary. But some people have this self-image that I am an extraordinary person, come what may, and he creates extraordinary results. So this self-image is the root cause of your success. And self-image, let us get into the nitty-gritties of how exactly the self-image is created, what kind of mental mechanism, psychological mechanism goes into making your self-image, how to break it. Is it real and virtual? And if I want to break it, how can I do it? And if I come out of it, if I achieve a lot of freedom, I really become a sovereign entity in myself, right? And after that, we have to decide what kind of goals that we should keep for ourselves, because now the sky is the limit. You are not limited by anything. So you set the goals, and then there has to be a systematic planning method of achieving those goals. So all these things will be discussed in my lecture.